The Switch 2 has been out for a few days now, and after some time with the exclusives, I have finally come up with a tier list for all of the Switch 2 games. Check it out. Alright, I'm gonna come clean. I have not played Welcome Tour. I'm sorry, I just can't spend $10 on that thing, so to all of the Welcome Tour fans out there, I'm sorry for rating that game so low even though I haven't played it, but come on. It's a paid tutorial. I mean, what are we even doing here, Reggie? Obviously, the real launch title for the Switch 2 is Mario Kart World, and I have actually been having a blast with this game. Specifically, I really quick have to shout out the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this game is absolutely incredible. There are so many remixes and new arrangements of old Mario tracks, and it has been such a joy just to drive around and listen to the music. If they put this soundtrack on the Nintendo Today app, I might actually get it. But as much fun as I'm having with Mario Kart World, there are a few design choices that are just making me scratch my head. Now, we do live in a time where games can be improved and added to over time, for better or for worse. I mean, that's why we get games that are just blatantly unfinished on release, but luckily, Mario Kart World does not fit into that category. For the most part, this feels like a Nintendo game with all of the love and care you would expect from Nintendo with their first-party titles. But even so, there are just a few strange gaps that are hard to ignore. But the good news is that these are totally fixable. So today I want to go over 3 things that Mario Kart World needs to add ASAP. Not to fix a broken game, but to elevate a great game into an amazing game. If I'm not mistaken, Mario Kart 8 was the first Mario Kart to include 200cc as an option for racing. And I'll be honest, I barely even played 200cc. I felt that most, if not all, of the tracks were designed with a max speed of 150cc in mind, which makes sense given that 200cc was a post-launch addition to Mario Kart 8. It was more of a bonus mode for those who had poured countless hours into the game and knew the tracks like the back of their hands. So for a casual player like me, I never really played it. So why am I suggesting that Nintendo should add this mode to Mario Kart World if I didn't care for it much in Mario Kart 8? Well, it's because this time, the game actually feels ready for this mode, and I feel its absence much more than I thought I would when I heard that Mario Kart World wouldn't launch with 200cc. One major change in Mario Kart World is that Nintendo has doubled the racer count from 12 to 24. To accommodate the extra chaos, the tracks have been redesigned to be noticeably wider, with much more room to breathe and less of an emphasis on precise drifting around tight corners. Because of this change, some of the courses, especially the intermission tracks, feel a bit slow, even at 150cc. In this game, I haven't even touched 50 or 100cc, and I don't plan to anytime soon. In Mario Kart 8, I felt that 150cc was the perfect speed for how the tracks were designed, but in World, I just feel like we need that extra gear, and I think that would make this game much more enjoyable than it already is. Mario Kart World's big selling point is that all of its tracks are connected in a seamless open world, and luckily we are allowed to free roam the world to our heart's content. Now, I have seen some varied opinions on this mode, and I do see some missed potential here. Now, there's a lot of things I could talk about how it would actually change the structure of the open world, but with the way it is in its current state, there is something Nintendo could do to make it better. Personally, I've actually had a lot of fun with the open world. It's been fun to explore and complete all the P-switches and find some medallions and the question mark panels. But with that said, the tracking system in this mode is absolutely horrendous, to the point where I cannot believe that the game released like this. According to Google, there are around 400 P-switches in the free roam mode, and like 100 Peach medallions or 150 Peach medallions. The game will tally how many you have collected and completed, but here's the issue. There is no way to see on the map which ones you've already completed. Personally, I don't care if I have to search for and discover the P-switches myself. Like, they don't need to show every single P-switch on the map or every single Peach medallion on the map. I get that that defeats the purpose, but I really wish that either the map would show locations of ones I've already completed so I can avoid those areas, or, and this I think would actually be the better option, would be to kind of show, like, in a region, divide the world into regions and say, in this region, there are 90 P-switches and you've completed 55 of them. That would be a much better way, so I know I need to go to that specific point in the map and search around for P-switches that I haven't completed yet. The only thing that they track in this game are the question mark panels that you find throughout the world. I don't understand why they couldn't have added a similar indicator for the P-switches and Peach medallions. Again, it would be one thing if there was like 5 P-switches or like 5 Peach medallions like per little region of the map, but there are so many of each. I do think that the free roam is a good time, and like I said, I have personally had a lot of fun with it. If they would add in proper tracking though, I would be so much more motivated to really dive into this world and find all of these collectibles. But as it stands, the mode is really just something fun to do for 20 to 30 minutes before I move on to the racing. Unfortunately, of the 3 things in this video, this one feels like the one that is least likely to happen. For some reason, it just feels so much like Nintendo to make a baffling choice like this and then just never change it. Thanks again, Reggie. Last but certainly not least, Nintendo desperately needs to add a classic Grand Prix mode to this game. I actually don't mind the way the Grand Prix is currently set up. I like the intermission tracks, and I get what they were going for with this structure. It is really neat to be driving around in the middle of nowhere and then suddenly you see the track show up in the distance, the music changes and it gets your heart racing and it gets your blood pumping for this real race at the end. But that's kind of the problem, isn't it? That I just called the end the real race. When you finally get to that next track, you only do 1 lap, and then the race is over. So that means a majority of your time in the Grand Prix is spent between the tracks, which is truly a bit odd. Now this makes perfect sense for the Knockout Tour mode, and there it works perfectly. I love Knockout Tour, and I've had so much fun with it, and in there, the intermission tracks, like I said, they make sense, because that's the idea. It's a long race where you're driving from place to place, where more people are getting knocked out over time, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really good idea in that mode, but it is a little bit weird for the Grand Prix, I'll admit. Again, I am fine with this mode existing in its current form. I am fine if this Grand Prix mode is here to stay, but I can make peace with that if a classic Grand Prix is on its way. I want classic 3-lap races that completely take place at the tracks, because there are some really great tracks here, and as it stands, you just don't get a lot of time with them. I think I really realized how much I wanted this mode when I started doing the time trials. The time trials take place at the tracks when you do 3 laps there to get the fastest time you can, and when I did that, I started to realize how much fun these tracks really were, and how I kept looking for new ways to, do shortcuts throughout the map, or do these crazy wall rides, or the grinding on the rails, and there's so much fun to be had in these tracks, so it's a shame that in the Grand Prix, you really only get to spend so little time there. So there you have it. Those are 3 things that I think Mario Kart World should add as soon as possible to make this great game even better. Obviously, this game was never going to be bad. I mean, it's Mario Kart. There's always a base level enjoyment to be had with this game, but I do think it has a lot of room for improvement. But what do you think? Are you having fun with Mario Kart World? Are there any other changes that you would personally make to the game? Let me know in the comments below. I think there are still a couple of videos I want to make about Mario Kart World. I want to talk about some more good stuff with the game and some bad stuff with the game. And if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps a lot. As for now, I gotta think about what I'm gonna do with the $10 I saved from not buying Welcome Tour. I'm sure I can find something on the eShop to play. Alright, what can I get with $10 on the recent releases? Hentai Golf. Wait a minute, the deluxe edition is only $2? Oh, you know I'm getting that.